The first year when I moved to Spain, and in full transparency, this was the hardest year because when you arrive in Spain, I mean, you've done all the hard work of getting your visa, doing the research, finding a place. But then when you land into a new country, so like I said, I had my boyfriend, but you don't know anyone, you don't know the language, you don't know the city, the country, and it can be very daunting. So if you're looking to move to Spain and are a bit lost, maybe you're asking yourself, is Spain the right place for me? Am I going to make friends? Am I taking the right decision? Why am I overcomplicating my life by moving to a new country? I don't even speak the Spanish. I'm reading a lot of different opinions online and I'm not sure if I'm making the right move. Well, this video is for you because what I'm going to try and do is tell you everything I wish I could have heard before I moved to Spain. Because when I moved to Spain 7 years ago, I was in the same situation as you. I was asking myself loads of questions. I was going through Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and was trying to really hear what the reality would be for me. And of course, what I'm going to tell you today is my reality. So hopefully I can give you the confidence that Spain is the right place for you, if it is. So now, if you're wondering, is moving to Spain worth it? I mean, that's a good question. And this, I can only share my own experience and my opinion on the subject. And to me, it's definitely worth it. I mean, it depends where you're from, but Spain has so much to offer. And again, Spain is diverse. So I'm talking about myself. I live in Barcelona, and it's just an incredible place to be because you get a mix of, you can have the city center, but you can go a bit outside on the outskirts, and you have the closeness to, you can have quick access to the beach, to the nature. So Spain has a lot to offer. And depending on the lifestyle that you're looking for, I find that space has a slower and pace and a better quality of life. But of course, there's some trade off. So I'm not going to lie to you. So if we were friends, I would tell you, the good and the bads. And there's like everything in life. I mean, there's things that you need to be aware of. So when it comes to things like salary, Spain is not the best place if you're looking to, especially if you're working for a Spanish company, salary tend to be quite low in comparison to other places in Europe. There's other things that you may have read, and actually it's the reality. The bureaucracy is insane in Spain. I'll talk a bit more about it later when I go and kind of walk you through the things that still drive me crazy after 7 years in Spain. And one of them is bureaucracy. And also there's things like, in general, it depends what kind of mentality you're coming into Spain with. But for example, I know that perhaps if you have a bit of an entrepreneurship spirit and you're looking to start a business in Spain can, like, after a few years, I've really understood that Spain was not built for entrepreneurs. So what I mean by that is that there's a lot of hurdle, a lot of taxes. There's not a lot of, the country doesn't incentivize you to kind of start your own business. And you can see that in Spain, there's a mentality where people are more kind of excited and looking forward to become, public servant, which there's nothing wrong about that. But it's true that I've noticed that after a few years, when you talk to people, there's this kind of exam that everyone needs to do in Spain to become a public servant. And it's called oposiciones. And these things that people can spend years and years because it's super selective. They only accept a specific number of people per year in different regions. And that's what usually people aim for because it provides you the stability and it just makes your life easier. But it's true that then on the other hand, if you're coming and you're hoping to perhaps start your own business, like I said, Spain might not be the best place in Europe for you. So there's a lot of consideration, and it depends also at what stage in your life you are. Because when I moved to Spain, I came here when I was 27, looking to work for a company and didn't have kids. On my late 20s, and Spain has been a really good place for me. But then perhaps depending on where you are in your life, this is the question that you ask yourself. So I would ask you, what is it that you want? What's important for you? Work? Are you still more in like grinding mode and you want to work and you want to make loads of money? And in that case, Spain might not be the right place. Or are you in a place where, okay, I'm actually more focused on, I want to, quality of life. I want to chill. I want to take it easy, and I'm okay to maybe earn less because I know that what I'm not making in money, I can get it in a different way, in good food, cheaper food, better lifestyle. So I would ask you this: what is it that you want? I think this would help you. Now, when it comes to me, why did I decide to move to Spain? Well, my boyfriend had got an opportunity in Barcelona, and I had been living in London for about 9 years, and it was in 2017 or 2018, yeah, 2017 when I moved right after, well, Brexit. So, I felt like maybe the UK wasn't a place for me anymore. I wasn't sure if I felt welcome anymore, and I knew that, as a French citizen, things would change in terms of you might be requiring a visa. I mean, there was a lot of questions. So I thought I'm also not in the best place in my career. I wasn't where I wanted to be, and I was asking myself a lot of questions. So I thought, let's do it. But actually, I mean, one of the big thing was finding a job. So because in my mind, as much as I wanted to move to Spain, I had internalized that I would not be able to move to Spain because I couldn't speak Spanish, because I was black, because I didn't speak Catalan, because I just had internalized all these things. So I kind of said to myself, well, I would only move to Spain if I find a job. At first, like there was a lot of process in my head. It was like, okay, I will have to find a job as a teacher or something like that because that's the only thing I can do because I don't speak the language. But then I thought, I studied communication and journalism and marketing, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So, I mean, I'm going to move to Spain, but I'm going to only move to Spain if I find a job in the industry that I want. So ended up applying, looking for jobs, and thinking deep down that I would never find one. And a month later, I was able to kind of have an interview with a startup. And well, I'm still working there. So it's been great. But it's true that I had a lot of limiting beliefs. So I would also ask yourself, what are those limiting beliefs? And really, are you sure that maybe those things, I mean, a lot of them, I guess, are based on some sort of assumption, but ask yourself, actually, let me try, let me give it a go. Like, I think I can't get that because of that, but let me still, in my case, for example, I thought I couldn't get a job because I didn't speak Spanish, but I still applied for English speaking job and I ended up finding a job. So I would say, ask yourself and try, give it a go. Then, when thinking about the first year when I moved to Spain, and in full transparency, this was the hardest year because when you arrive in Spain, I mean, you've done all the hard work of getting your visa, doing the research, finding a place. But then when you land into a new country, so like I said, I had my boyfriend, but you don't know anyone, you don't know the language, you don't know the city, the country, and it can be very daunting. So I remember that the language barrier was a big thing for me. It was God, thankfully, I had a job, so I was working in English, so I knew that at least I was in my comfort zone at work. But small things like going from home to work, I was like, sometimes I was freaking out because I was like, okay, what if I get lost? How am I going to ask for directions? So at first, I was really scared and I had kind of no social circle. I had colleagues at work, but they were colleagues at the end of the day. And I remember like in Spain, like there's a lot of national holidays and actually in Barcelona, there's also regional holidays. And I remember there was this long weekend, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I think there was like 4 or 5 days off, and I had like no plans, and I didn't want to go out because I knew that okay, everyone's going to be in family mode and friends mode, and I have no one to hang out with. So those moments where I just ended up staying at home, and those moments, I'm not gonna lie, like it's tricky, but it's like everything in life. It takes time, and with time, I made friendship through work. I made friendship when I got out of my comfort zone. I started going to the gym, met people at the gym. I started, doing things on my own, going to museum, going to exhibitions, and along the way, I met different people. So you just need to know that you will meet people, but it takes time, and sometimes you kind of need to go out of your way to meet people. I remember signing up to like activities, and you just need to go the extra mile. It's kind of like that first day at school when you don't know anyone and you have two choices: or you sit in the corner on your own, or you go and speak to the friendliest person you can find. And well, this is something that I would always recommend doing when you move to Spain. And don't worry about, like I said, you will meet people, but you would need to you would need to very much, sometimes it can be cringy, but you would have to go and speak to people. And Spanish people are actually very friendly. It's like everywhere. Like some people are nice, some people are not nice, but I found that in general, people let you in. If they see you, even though you don't speak the language, they would make an effort to speak to you, to communicate with you. Like I've only had one instance or two when someone was speaking Catalan and I was kind of responding back to them in Spanish, half English, but they kept on talking to me in Catalan. But this was the minority, like this is not the rule. Like there's different people. So yeah. And in terms of what helped me settling after 7 years, I mean, after not 7 years, but in the first couple of years, like I said, gym, watching TV. I did try going to Spanish classes, but it wasn't for me. I mean, I did it for 2, 3 months and I found it a bit rigid. So what I recommend and what I always say is just immerse yourself in the culture. Now that you're in the country, I mean, it's the best place. Make sure that you're like eavesdropping, listening to people talking in bar, when you're outside, when you're taking public transport. Listen to podcasts even though you're not understanding it at first. I have a young kid, so now I just, I have to socialize with parents and everything. So if I don't understand things, I ask questions. I just say it, I didn't get it, I didn't catch that, can you explain? Like, don't be scared to ask, and people are more than happy to help. Now, thinking of what I love about Spain, I think I talked a lot about what I love, like the closeness to nature. I think the food, the people, and the community. I think it's amazing quality of life. But there's things that still frustrate me. And this is something that I would say to you, Spain as the perfect place. There's no such thing as a perfect place. First, it's all about you. It's all about how you feel. You can be in Spain, and if you're still not feeling good with yourself, like if you won't be happy. So it's all about you. You need to be happy first, and the place would help. But at the end of the day, in Spain, there's also things that would frustrate you. In my case, less paperwork. Now we are in May as we speak, and it's the time of the year where you need to file your taxes. Filing taxes in Spain is very complicated. You usually have to hire an accountant. You need to pay for it. Super stressful because you never know if you're going to have to pay back. Hopefully you can get money. You can also get money back, but usually you have to pay back. Bureaucracy is complicated. When I had my first kid, a couple of days after giving birth, you need to register your kid to, you need to register your kid. You need to, I mean, there's a lot of paperwork that you need to do, and it's complicated. The system is not very user friendly. So there's a lot of things that a lot of people just end up paying for someone to help. Even local people, my neighbors told me that they were paying someone to do the paperwork for them. So imagine as an expat, like, yes, those things are complicated. Also high cost of living. I mean, I live in Barcelona, but there's many places around Spain that are becoming super expensive. Prices are going up. So again, check your budget, because maybe you've internalized that. I mean, I'm sure Spain is cheaper than many places, especially if you're coming from the States, but still it depends how much you're making. There's a lot of, it depends, so do the math and see if it makes sense. It makes sense for you. And well, overall, my advice for you, if you're thinking to move to Spain, is do the work, like do the research, do the math. I think the most important thing is your budget. Can you afford to live in Spain? And if you can afford to live in Spain, and if the only thing that's holding you back is your fears, is what you've internalized, is you being scared of not making friends, of not speaking Spanish, of not being able to do paperwork, if that's the only thing that stops you, well, my advice is don't let it stop you, because you will make it work. You will make it work. And my personal experience is that Spain has been so far by far, and I've lived in different country, and Barcelona, particularly in this city, has been so welcoming to me, and I'm so glad I've taken the plunge. The idea was to stay here for a couple of years, and now it's been 7 years, and I recommend it to everyone, because what's the worst thing that can happen? I always say that to my friend and to myself. Well, the worst thing that can happen is you don't like it, and what you don't like it, what you go home, and you wouldn't have lost. I mean, these years of months you would have spent in Spain wouldn't have been lost, but at least it would have given you clarity. So at the end of the day, you won't have to ask yourself, what if. That's the thing. That's the worst thing I can think of. If that's hopefully that's this video in this quick pep talk is what you needed to hear. I hope that will give you the confidence that you can do it. So for more videos around my experience in Spain, for more questions, make sure to share them with me, and I'll be happy to answer back to you. So until next time.